Next up, Belmont Park Live. Can 3-year-old filly make it out, build off an impressive maiden score at Saratoga, where she won by more than 8 lengths. She'll try and turn the tables on a filly who beat her in her debut. 2-year-olds are featured in the Bertram at Bongard Bankit duel, but came up just short of a stake score at Saratoga. Will his speed carry him to the wire today? And Poppy's Destiny will try to keep company with him up front. See if his speed can carry him to a victory off an impressive debut effort at Saratoga. All that, much more coming up on this Friday edition of Belmont Park Live. It is presented by Claiborne Farm, 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Great to have you with us as we get started on kicking off the weekend here in a big weekend ahead. 2-year-olds are a feature race coming up. Quite a few who we saw at Saratoga who will take that next step here in a wide open field. Greg Wolf alongside the Big A, Anthony Stabile. Good to be with you up here.
Wolfie, what's happening? Ready to roll?
Absolutely. We're going to have a good show this afternoon. We're looking forward to it. Bankit, we saw this horse at Saratoga. Very impressive maiden score, and then he dueled all the way to the wire, just coming up short in a stakes race.
Yeah. Too good to lose in the funny side when last seen on Travers Eve. He'll try to take his speed an extra 1/16 of a mile today as we go 7 furlongs for the first time. At least Bankit's going to try and go 7 furlongs for the first time. Here he is. This is his maiden win up at the old spa, and we're going to see him run away and hide from state breds. Ran against open company first time out, found his friends in the state bred rank second time out. This was an impressive performance. Ran very well on the funny side. 7 furlongs for the first time, Greg. I know it's only an extra 1/16 of a mile, but I don't think people realize just how important distance and stretching out is this time of year for the 2-year-olds and the inexperienced ones.
We'll see if he has any company up front here this afternoon. He is ultra quick. Here's the races we're bringing you this afternoon. Race 6 kicks off the Naira Bets late pick 5 sequence at 6 furlongs on a yielding turf course. Coming up, 7th race starts the late pick 4. 8th race, 6.5 furlongs on the main track. The 9th, the Bertram F. Bongard, that 2-year-old race we were talking about at 7 furlongs. That's the races we're bringing you this afternoon. There's 10 on the card today, so that last race you'll be able to see on Naira Bets. Get signed up, get started, play along. Here's weather and track conditions brought to you by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on, Pescon, main track fast, and as mentioned, the turf course yielding for today's action, including the 6th race coming up in just a moment. Get signed up, play along. You get $200 in your account when you take use of that promo code Belmont Live for that new member bonus, and you can bet any track, anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. All right, let's set the stage for race 6 that kicks off the Naira Bets late pick 5. 6 furlongs over the inner turf. New York bred allowance optional claiming field. Right now it is Discretionary Mark who is favored for Christophe Clement.
Yeah, a little surprised by the tote board early on in the wagering here, Greg. Discretionary Mark taking some money. This is where Gerardo Ortiz Jr. lands. You see that We Should Talk's taking some money to number 2 at 7-2. Yeah, wide open board, though.
We're switching up our whole crew this afternoon. Talking horses down in the paddock here for our paddock report. We have Paul LaDuca. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm. Now standing Curlin for $150,000. Hey, Paul LaDuca.
Hey guys, let's get to your favorite immediately, Discretionary Mark. Actually, just before you guys came down to me, Christophe Clement ran right by me and asked me, hey, what was the time of the 2nd race today? I said, 109 and change, 110, let me look, and it was 110 and 2. He's worried a little bit that the turf course could be a little soft. Discretionary Mark is another horse that we don't know if he really needs the lead to win or he needs a firm turf course. The other horse in here I thought looked great in the paddock was the 2 We Should Talk for Gary Goulart. Now this is a Sagamore Farm horse that Horacio De Paz probably just kept down here and was giant last time out over a yielding turf course at Saratoga after being left in the gate. I thought he was tremendous that day. And the other lookers here in the paddock, Greg, were the 6 and the 8. I thought they both looked well prepared.
All right, Paul, thank you. There is the 8. There's one of them. That's the Christophe Clement runner who was talking to Paul about those times earlier. Discretionary Mark a winner 2 starts back. And Paul mentioned the 2-horse We Should Talk as well, who he brought up, and this is key. This horse won on a yielding turf at Saratoga, and that was this horse's turf debut.
Yeah, while some, Greg, will have question marks as to the given the ground, this one shouldn't pass them all the last 3/16 of a mile or so to win first time on the turf off a long layoff. Yielding ground today again.
Post parade coming up. We have 46,000 and growing in that Naira Bets late pick 5 pool. Here is Frisky Magician. Manny Franco aboard here for Jorge Abreu.
Tough beat. 2 starts back, beating a nose, went up the rail at Saratoga. Maybe they just ran away from this one last time out. This horse is a gigantic price right now at 14-1.
Not a good thing when you hear this in a relationship. We Should Talk. Turf debut, winning one on a yielding turf.
Yeah, this horse was really good off the layoff. Gary Gullo runs this horse for the first time. He won the opener today. Horse has the experience on the yielding ground.
Spiteful Kitten, Linda Rice, Jose Ortiz team up for Avanti Stable.
Yeah, maybe this one's the one on the front end in here. This horse has a ton of speed early. Not a lot of good experience, though, on wet turf.
Ethan Hunt, sent out by John Toscano Jr. Rajiv Mirage will be aboard, and that last out effort leaves you wanting a little more.
Yeah, last 2 efforts, actually. This horse does have a win, though, at Belmont Park.
What's to talk about 9-1? This is a Jason Service runner with David Cohen aboard.
Yeah, missed the board just once in 8 Belmont tries. Gets back down from Saratoga. This one could use some help in front on the front end.
Wow, really dead on the board right now as well. It was 3-1 morning line. Sword Fighter, the 7 here for Rudy Rodriguez. Junior Alvarado aboard.
Yeah, first time state breds, last time out. That was back in April. Didn't run that poorly. We see the big break in the form.
Discretionary mark, Christophe Clement, Irad Ortiz Jr. for Patricia Generazio.
Yeah, made a real easy lead, 2 starts back. Ran pretty well behind Colonel Tom in that fast race up at Saratoga. Christophe's concerned with the ground, though, a point of contention.
Joe Sharp will send out Uncle Huge off the claim here. Blinkers coming off a horse with speed with Dylan Davis.
Yeah, like you said, blinkers off. 0 for 3 at Belmont, 0 for 3 going the distance. This horse may want to go a little bit shorter.
Crocheron Kid. 4-time winner on the turf, trained by David Dunk, has Eric Consell on the irons.
Back in with state breds last time out, first time in a long time. Another one, I don't know about him with some give in the ground. He might like it a little more firm than this.
And another Linda Rice runner here on the outside, Psychic Energy, John Velasquez rides.
Yeah, a lot of gaps in the form, December to April, May to now. This horse does have 3 wins at this 6 furlong distance on the lawn.
Get involved. We talk about it all summer long, how tremendous this Naira Bets late pick 5 wager value has been. It has been tremendous. Yesterday's sequence paid over $23,000. It is available every day of the Belmont meet through October 6th online for Naira Bets customers and on track in New York. Racing's best plays, approaching the 5-minute mark post to get down in this sequence as we take a look at the difference between the late pick 4 and the late pick 5 yesterday. Late pick 4 was nice, almost $3,000, $2,900. Late pick 5, $23,279.
It's almost 8 times. The late pick 5 is almost 8 times as much as the pick 4. It's what unbelievable value, and that's what you have to command at the racetrack, Greg. You have to command value.
All right, you're getting it each and every day with this Naira Bets late pick 5. How are you going to play it today?
Going to spread here. I don't think you can really lean on anyone too heavily. Going to use the 1, 2, 6, and 7. I really think Rudy's runner here. I really think the 7 is a live long shot here. I like this horse off the layoff, Sword Fighter. Then we come back for you craps players, 7-11 in the second leg. We're going to single Macon out and hope she leads to getting us lucky. The 2, I think, that figure a Bankit and the Todd Pletcher runner in the Bertram F. Bongard, and then let's use half the field in the finale. The inside runners, and we'll go outside to the Sheik of Araby as well.
Yeah, it is a tough sequence this afternoon. That last race, I know we're not going to be on for it. You'll be able to watch that 10th and finale on the Naira Bets app, but it is wide open, and you want to be alive going into it, but it's a tough one to close it out.
Yeah. I like that race on the back end of this sequence today because I think there's some value early on, and if you can get to the end with a bunch like I hope to, we could be in for another big score like yesterday, over $23,000 in that late pick 5 yesterday.
All right, let's check in with Paul LaDuca again.
Yeah, Greg, I wanted to mention the one a little bit here, Frisky Magician. Was the last race really that bad? was favored at 2-1 against most of these horses and just did not run a step. The race before that almost won, and I think I'm wondering if a lot of people are looking at the record here at Belmont Park with 6 starts, no wins and no seconds, but you get Manny Franco aboard and Mr. Dub, very good connections here, and Jorge Abreu, who's gotten off to a good start to this Belmont meet. So a horse that is getting ignored at the window. And a little hunch play here maybe. In 2010, everybody remembers My Wife Knows Everything versus My Wife Knows Nothing. What happens if this race runs We Should Talk to the 6? What's to talk about?
No doubt Larry Colmus been rehearsing this one last night, late into the early hours of the morning.
Larry had a lot of fun with Boss Man, taking the William Entenmann steeplechase yesterday to start the card with his airplane. It's his favorite movie, so we had a lot of airplane references. And yeah, this could be The Wife Knows Everything, The Wife Doesn't Know Redux here with the 2 Watts horses. Paul and I don't seem to think so, though. He's taking Frisky Magician, a horse that I took an absolute brutal beat with 2 starts back. And yeah, I'm being forced to watch this again. I watched it on Talking Horse this morning. You'll see Frisky Magician under a very heads-up Jose Ortiz, saving all the ground, trying to get through. Banana Thief's going to wind up cutting him down on the far outside. It was the first time Banana Thief won in about 2 years. But you got to like the effort here from Frisky Magician. Paul brings out a good point. Maybe this horse doesn't like the big sweeping turns here at Belmont Park and likes to come off the turn at Saratoga like the whip, the old carnival ride, and ride the rails. I don't know. At 12-1, though, I'm not letting this horse beat me today.
I could not believe Banana Thief won that race that day. That horse had not won in so long, but got up to win that day for Steve Asmussen. As we take a look here at the 2 We Should Talk. So this is the horse who won on the yielding turf course, and it was his turf debut. He's a 3-year-old, improving. Here's a look at the performance that came at Saratoga back on August 19th.
You know, you combine everything else. First start of the year, first start on turf, the yielding ground. He trails the field, turning for home. It's his first start against Older. And look at him just picking him up and laying him down in here. Joel Rosario is going to climb aboard today. Ricardo Santana rides him, and he rides him brilliantly. Perfectly timed move. Again, the one question mark a lot of these horses have in here is the given the ground. He does not have to answer that question. He already has.
Meanwhile, Discretionary Mark, the 8, are 5-2 favorite. That price keeps getting lower here on this Christophe Clement runner, who 2-back was a winner right here at Belmont at 6 furlongs, and the horse has won here twice on this turf course.
Yeah, you know, I got to tell you, I'm one of the biggest Christophe Clement fans there are. I don't get this horse today. I certainly don't get him as the favorite. He had a pretty easy trip when he broke his maiden 2 starts back. That turf really firmed up in Saratoga. And when he ran second to Colonel Tom last time out, he may have liked that firm ground in here. Christophe told Paul he has a little concern with the giving the ground. Man, all of that really points to this horse being vulnerable at 5-2.
I thought one of the biggest surprises as we take a look at the odds there. I mean, we know how hot Jason Service has been all summer long. Certainly the Belmont meet leading into Saratoga. Started out Saratoga sort of slow, but then he heated up towards the end. This horse was 3-1 morning line, the 6 horse. 9-1 on Jason Service with a horse who's shown he has ability.
Yeah, and a horse that's won at Belmont Park. In fact, only off the board 1 time. Should get some speed to run at in here with horses like Spiteful Kitten. Maybe he gets first run. David Cohen's starting to wake up a little bit. I think David will fit this horse like a glove. There's another horse. There is a ton of value in here. If you think the favorite's vulnerable in here, you gotta get this horse beat. You're gonna get paid.
It's a great betting race. Even at the 3, we see there on the screen, 1 of 2 in here for Linda Rice, Spiteful Kitten. I thought this horse could step up and show some ability here. This horse has won on this turf course before, stepping in right now with Jose Ortiz. But the favorite will be Discretionary Mark. This race kicks off our NYRA bets. Late pick 5, current pooled 81,000. As we get set for the starts, we'll send it upstairs to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown for the call. Larry Colmus.
Psychic Energy goes in. They're all in line. They're off. Uncle Huge came out quickly. Spiteful Kitten and Discretionary Mark are out well, too. And then it's Ethan Hunt, followed by What's to Talk About, Psychic Energy on the far outside. And then it's Sword Fighter, We Should Talk, the Crocheron Kid, and at the back of the pack is Frisky Magician. Heading up the backstretch, Uncle Huge from Discretionary Mark. They're 3/4 of a length apart, and now Uncle Huge gets away to lead by 2 lengths after a 22.44 quarter. Discretionary Mark is running along in second. Ethan Hunt goes up on the outside third. And then it's Psychic Energy, Spiteful Kitten, the Crocheron Kid on the outside, 2.5 lengths back. And then Sword Fighter, Wants to Talk About, followed by Frisky Magician and We Should Talk at the back of the pack. They're coming to the top of the stretch. Discretionary Mark draws up alongside from Uncle Huge to take the lead as they turn for home. We got a rider down there at the top of the stretch. Number 7 unseated the rider, Sword Fighter. Junior Alvarado went down. So they come to the final 16th here. And it is Ethan Hunt who's now moving up on the outside of Discretionary Mark, who battles on. It's these two with the Crocheron Kid. They're coming down to the line. It's going to be a photo finish. Discretionary Mark or Ethan Hunt, they were together on the wire. The Crocheron Kid was third and Psychic Energy was fourth.
Well, Discretionary Mark gets the win here as the favorite, but our concern right now with Junior Alvarado thrown from his mount, Sword Fighter. Junior was just late last night on a plane to go work a horse in Florida. Made it back here to ride this afternoon. So we'll try and get you an update as soon as we hear anything. Discretionary Mark here holding off long shot Ethan Hunt for the victory.
Yeah, so survives a speed duel with Spiteful Kitten to the inside, Uncle Huge on the outside. Discretionary Mark was very, very game in victory today, holding off Ethan Hunt, who looked like he was going to get the measure of this horse.
32-1.
Every single step of the way. Discretionary Mark, the wire saves him. Boy, did that come just in the nick of time for Discretionary Mark.
So it looks like 8-5-11. It was very close here. Went off as a slight favorite. Rad Ortiz Jr., Christophe Clement. Now let's take one more look at the wire as this 32-1 shot making things awfully tight with a horse who went off the post-time favorite.
I got news for you, Greg. I think it's Bob before, Bob after. Discretionary Mark looks like he gets his nose down right when it counts.
It does appear like it's the 8. Let's go downstairs to Paul LaDuca for more on what transpired here in this 6th race.
Yeah, guys, I don't know if you can see me at all, but I'm actually in the middle of both turf courses trying to walk towards Junior Alvarado. He is down on the curved turf course, and he is not moving right now. I'm going to try to get some more information. He actually got stepped on by the outside horse when he did fall down. So I'm going to try to get some more information, whatever I can. I'm going to try to get some more information from the jockey that actually did step on Junior. Hopefully now, well, we just got to see Junior now sit up. So that is a very, very good sign because he was not moving to this point, Greg.
We just heard, yeah, a round of applause out here. So good news, at least we've seen a little movement there from Junior Alvarado. 8-5-11-12. Discretionary Mark starts things off here in this 6th race with a victory. We'll get more. If we get any more updates here on Junior Alvarado as soon as we hear anything, we're going to take a quick timeout. We'll be back. You're watching Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus Prime Ticket and Fox Sports San Diego. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Once again, among the world's leading sires of stakes horses and graded stakes horses, Warfront has sired 8 champions and 8 millionaires. Recent Grade 1 winners include European champion U.S. Navy Flag and Lancaster Bomber, plus an ever-growing list of 2018 graded stakes winners. In the sales ring, his yearlings continue to bring prices well over $1 million. International Super Sire Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a length and a half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Back on Belmont Park Live. Sixth race, at this point still unofficial. Looking at that spill that happened in the race, unofficially was 8-5, 11-12. That is Irad Ortiz Jr. on board for the win here as a discretionary mark picks up the third victory of his career. We're still waiting to get some confirmation on the latest with Junior Alvarado. We saw dropped from Sword Fighter, the 7-horse in here. He got stepped on by Frisky Magician as well.
Yeah, amazing. Junior was up, sitting up. Larry Comas announced that. Looked good. That looked a lot worse than it appears to be right now. We don't want to speculate on anything, but Frisky Magician was the one widest of all. And I'll tell you, Manny Franco aboard a Frisky Magician, he may have got him, but he did a fantastic job. He saw it happening, and he did everything he could to get around, but Junior kind of tumbled right as opposed to forward or left. And when he goes right into Frisky Magician's path. Manny did a fantastic job trying to get around him, but he just clipped him.
Such a dangerous situation, but at least early good news that we heard. Junior Alvarado was sitting up under his own power. As we take a look at the photo for the win, discretionary mark holding off this 32-1 long shot, Ethan Hunt, to get the win, and does so at 7-2. It has become official there, $9.10 for the victory.
Yeah, big balloons underneath, as you would expect, is Ethan Hunt at 32-1, $122 exacta, dime super over 780 bucks. If you were able to find them, congratulations. The Crocheron Kid, also a big price. Money was right on discretionary mark. I didn't agree with it, but got the money, and like you said, lukewarm, slight favorite there at 9-10.
Late pick 4. It begins here in the 7th. Here it's a mile on the turf, a 50,000 starter allowance. This is a wide open race as well. Right now it's 7-2, kind of modest favorite. Lemonist for Todd Pletcher is coming off a second place performance at Saratoga.
Yeah, you know, this horse is running against a little bit better. Earlier on in his career, they dropped him in for the tag last time out, and now he sneaks into this starter allowance condition, Greg.
Go through this field, have a paddock report when we come back for the start of the late pick 4. We're going to take a break in the action. She's the undisputed leader of the 3-year-old filly division. Monomoy Girl getting all set to go for the Grade 1 Cotillion. She tries to keep her perfect 3-year-old season intact. We'll have it on our show tomorrow. We'll preview that next.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York-sired, New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires, 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes, and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
Firenze Fire has run right by Mendelssohn. Firenze Fire has taken the lead, and he's taking off here. He's opened up 5. 7 Trumpets and Mendelssohn battling for second. Rugby Man is 4th behind Firenze Fire, and oh, he's just rolling home. Oh, he was so good today.
That was a 9-length win from Firenze Fire. He was sensational in the Dwyer. Jason Service said we've been dying to cut him back and just responded so well to the freshing. That was his first start since the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, a one-turn wonder, a Grade 1 winner. Of course, he won our Champagne right here at Belmont Park. Beat the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and Juvenile Eclipse champ Good Magic in the process, and he's going to really cut back to 3/4 of a mile tomorrow afternoon down in Ben Salem, PA. I spent a lot of time as a kid down in Parks. My dad had horses down there. I did. It's the coldest backstretch in the winter, obviously, I have ever experienced in my life. No place colder than the Parks backstretch, Wolf.
Really?
I'm telling you, man. When you're a 10-year-old kid and you don't want to throw a football around because it's that cold, it's cold, my friend. It should be nice down there tomorrow, though.
Keeneland Fall, I've experienced some very cold days as well.
I'll be down at the Breeders' Cup. I haven't seen Keeneland Fall, but I'm telling you, January at Parks, I'll put it up with Siberia.
You can split a huge 3 million point bonus from Naira Bets with the Pennsylvania Exactaganza double at Parks on Saturday. To win, just hit your Exacta in the Pennsylvania Derby and your Exacta in the Cotillion. Any Naira Bets customer who hits both will split 3 million points. That's equal to $3,000. Visit NairaBets.com for details on this huge bonus coming up this weekend. The Cotillion, well, Monomoy Girl's just been sensational her entire career, but especially this year. As a 3-year-old, perfect 5 for 5. Her victories all coming at different racetracks. Her last 4 wins, all in Grade 1 competition.
And it's amazing that the 3 others in the division, Wonder Gadot, Midnight Bizou, and Separation of Powers, all going down to Parks to take her on at seemingly her trip, 1 1/16, 2 turns. It helps fillies that have the tactical speed like she does. I know there's some local in there. Maybe she has a target on Saturday.
This is her schooling today at Parks. 8 for 9 in her career, trying to rack up another Grade 1 win. Here's Brad Cox on how she's doing ahead of her big date in the Cotillion.
You can tell over just like the last couple weeks how she's gotten a little more aggressive in her gallops. We've had a little break in the weather. I think that's kind of got her ears, picked her up a little bit and got her a little more forward of the mornings. It's not as warm lately of the mornings as it was, say, a month ago. Some of these fillies are shortening back up to 1 1/16 off a 1 1/4 race. So that's always, you know, sometimes can be a positive. And she's coming off a little bit of a break. I mean, not that, you know, we didn't turn her out, we didn't stop training her or anything, but she obviously has, I believe 9 weeks between the coaching club and the Cotillion. So, but she's doing well. I think the 1 1/16, the 2-turn 1 1/16, you know, right up her alley. And you know, I think with a good trip, she'll be very, very tough.
Field for the Pennsylvania Derby, and it marks the return of McKinsey, who was Bob Baffert's Derby horse before anybody knew about Justified. This was the horse they thought, imagine that, he gets injured, he doesn't even get to go in the Triple Crown, and they wind up winning a Triple Crown anyway with Justified.
Yeah, last time we saw McKinsey was back in early March. Him and Boldoro was shoving each other around in the San Felipe, and now he goes to a place that Bob Baffert's had a lot of success. Of course, Bayern in 2014 before the Breeders' Cup Classic win. Just last year, West Coast, before he ran very, very well in the Breeders' Cup Classic. And McKinsey, yeah, you know, you would think an ambitious place to start out, $1 million Grade 1 off of a 6-month layoff, but he's the 5-2 morning line favorite.
We had that San Felipe back earlier in the year on our show. Bob Baffert did not like that decision at all. Says this horse, so the best thing about him, obviously the quality is there, but he fights and he is gutsy. Here's Jimmy Barnes on his return.
He had a hind end injury. I'm not quite sure if it came out of that his last race where he was hit, but he had his time off. We kept him in the barn with us and went through his therapy in the barn and came back in awesome shape. I mean, he's been working lights out, and I expect him to really show up here Saturday. He was our Derby horse even before that in December, November. But then a horse called Justified showed up in the barn, and we would jokingly say, "Oh, this is our next Derby. This is our Derby horse here." Actually, Mackenzie was supposed to stay at Santa Anita, and Justified was going to Oaklawn. Yep. So when he had came up injured, we elected to leave Justified at Santa Anita, and we didn't run in the Oaklawn race.
It's going to be real fun to see Mackenzie back in action. Obviously a very tough spot for his return. This is part of Park Saturday Stakes schedule. We will have the Gallant Bob, the Cotillion, and Pennsylvania Derby on Belmont Park Live. Loaded schedule.
Yeah, looking forward to that program tomorrow afternoon. Great stakes action down there. We will have our stakes race here, the Kelso and Battle of Midway. We'll talk about him later on. But yeah, looking forward to the program tomorrow.
We're moving on. Late pick 4 coming up next here at Belmont. 50,000 starter allowance. It is a mile on the turf, and we showed the odds a little bit just a little while ago. It is a wide open race here in this spot. Lemonist for Todd Pletcher. Still taking the money here at 3-1, but there are a lot of ways to go in this race.
I feel like we could say that a lot today from the start of this card back at 1 o'clock all the way through the finale. Yeah, this is another wide open race. We'll kick off the late pick 4 in here. Lemonist, again, a couple of stakes races down at Gulfstream and Gulfstream Park West. Ran against horses like Prognostication last time in the claiming ranks. He came back to win, so he sneaks in to the starter allowance contest here as your 3-1 favorite.
Meanwhile, there's the 11. There's Fly Off for George Weaver. And this horse DQ'd from a second-place finish at Saratoga on a yielding turf where he ran pretty good. Placed 3rd in that effort. And that was off an 8-length maiden claiming victory at Belmont at 7 furlongs.
Yeah, remember when we were kids, we used to say what's good for the goose is good for the gander? Well, that wasn't the case here. Feel the Burn takes him to the 43 path on the far turn. He Fly Off returns the favor through the lane. He gets disqualified for his transgression. Inside Fuel the Burn does not. I wonder how well, Greg, he handled the yielding ground last time out, and if it's a concern today here at Belmont.
There he is. Yeah, he seemed to, certainly we saw him get jostled around a little bit, but never really got to really just set himself down and take off like he did in that maiden score prior. Here's a look at Here Comes Your Man. A lot of seconds from this horse, especially at Belmont. 8 tries on the turf here, 6 seconds.
Yeah, he's like a personal ATM machine. Over 60,000 banked alone this year. Just 1 win. Here he comes. He's in the white cap on the far outside. He's going to turn out to be on the far outside under Joel Rosario. See him lug in a little bit there, and then Joel gets him to daylight. He just runs out of ground, and boy, when you look at his card, you can say that about every one of his races except one. He's almost always running late, and he just runs out of ground late. We'll see if maybe the yielding ground helps him today. It usually does with horses that come from off the pace, and his the one good track race, he got beat just ahead.
His only win on the turf. It did come at this distance. Yeah, he'd love to see a little pace stool up front to help out that closing kick. He is 9-2. It's time for a paddock report, so we're going to check back in with Paula Duca. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Bayern for $15,000.
Thanks, Greg. I just touched on a couple other horses that you guys did not touch on. I thought the 6 Miles of Humor was a very interesting sort. This gelding by Distorted Humor, by far the biggest horse in this race. Now they're going to take the blinkers off. And the 3 starts here at Belmont, you do have a win. You do have 2 second-place finishes. So maybe the sweeping turns is what he's always wants. Ralph Nix will be aboard. Irad Ortiz Jr. will now be the pickup mount. Junior Alvarado was scheduled to ride. To get to the 7, Lemonist, sometimes they'll geld horses. This horse is a newly gelded. He ran first time as a gelding last time. And sometimes when they geld horses, they'll geld them because they put on too much weight and they try to stop that growth so they don't get too heavy. This is not the case with this horse. He's actually a smallish son of Lemon Drop Kid, but wow, does he make an unbelievable appearance here in the paddock. And he has not turned a hair considering he is a second-time gelding. He ran well. He's getting bet at the window. So maybe the 7 is a horse you need to pay attention to. The 2 in here, Arch to the Diver. Now, Manuel Franco was on the 7 last time. He goes to the 2, Arch of the Diver. And this horse has taken money off a big, muddy win, at 9.5 length win. And, obviously bred for the turf, but the 1 turf start was not that good. But in the motion care for West Point Thoroughbreds is usually a very good sign. So to me, the 2, obviously a player in the board is telling you that. And then the 9 in here, Shortlist, the son of Congrats. Seems like he keeps making that middle move, or he's up on that pace and he just seems to flatten out. 1 for 12 lifetime with 6 second-place finishes. I can't really endorse him. He looks the same as he's always looked here in the paddock. He's got 4 wraps all over. So to me, the best-looking horse for me in the paddock would be the 6, guys.
It's Miles of Humor, and that's the horse that Junior Alvarado was supposed to ride. Of course, he's going to be off all his mounts the rest of the afternoon. Irad Ortiz Jr. will pick up the mount on Miles of Humor on the board at 7-1 right now. The 6 horse for Ralph Nix taking the blinkers off. We're going to step aside, short timeout. We'll be back post-parade coming up for race 7 to kick off the pick 4 next.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase. He won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe, running a 105 buyer and winning by open lengths. Mastery, new for 2018 at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live here in Elmont, New York. Just wanted to give you a little update on Junior Alvarado. The guys in the jocks room were able to slow down the video. There was a clod from the turf course that hit Junior in the face that actually knocked him off balance off the horse, was able to talk to Manuel Franco, said, listen, I had no chance of not stepping on Junior, but he is okay. He's on his way into the hospital and everything is okay. Extremities is fine. He's just feeling a little pain in the lower back. So very, very good news, guys.
Paul, thank you. That is great to hear.
Yeah, fantastic to hear. An interesting scenario in which he comes off the horse. You know, I've been around this game my whole life. That one I've never heard.
Those injuries, those spills always look so much worse sometimes than they really are. So you never know, but you always hold your breath and hope for the best. And it sounds like things Going to be okay with Junior Alvarado as he heads to the hospital, and obviously off his mounts the rest of the afternoon. Irad Ortiz Jr. again filling in on the 6-horse for him here as we take a look at the 1. Here comes your man, Anthony Dutrow. And here's Arch of the Diver at 5-1.
He won off an almost 2-year layoff at Saratoga. They tried to run him on the turf that day. It was rained off. They get their surface today.
Ran huge off the bench. That was a long layoff to almost 2 years. Wet your whistle, Michael Trombetta. Javier Castellano aboard.
Yeah, Castellano is 3rd rider and 4th rider in 5 starts. Just missed by a length of 3/4 last time. Dug in gamely on the front end.
Ego, his turf debut came last out, and he won at Monmouth for David Canizzo.
Yeah, came from just off the pace. Dave Canizzo already won one on the card with sudden surprise. He looks for his 2nd.
Here's Miles of Humor with Irad Ortiz Jr. filling in.
Blinkers come off. The source started his career with the blinkers off. Another one made the lead in the stretch last time, tired late.
Lemonist warming up aggressively here for Todd Pletcher with John Velasquez.
2nd time gelding. Hall of Famer John Velasquez climbs aboard. He looks really good on the racetrack today, Greg.
Short list sent out by Jeremiah Engelhardt. Dylan Davis rides.
One of a bunch out of that 2nd win by prognostication up at Saratoga. Made a big middle move and looked to hang a little late in the game, if you ask me.
And here is Fly Off, trained by George Weaver with Jose Ortiz.
Yeah, a couple of real good efforts since a year-plus layoff. We'll see if that yielding ground, which kind of forced that inquiry last time, plays a role today.
And lastly, a little commissioner here for Robertino Diodoro. 2 back. He broke his maiden at Belmont for 75 maiden claiming.
Yeah, and, you know, I wonder if he's going to like to return to Belmont. He was in a scrum. 6 of them, 7 of them hit the line within a couple of lengths last time at Saratoga. Back to Belmont for him today.
Big price, but he's a little interesting here from that outside position here for a very sharp barn. This one has become our favorite here. 5-2 on the 11. Fly Off for George Weaver. Did he not love that yielding turf at Saratoga last time out? He's getting yielding again today here at Belmont. But the betting public solidly behind him. We'll be back.
Switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole, but Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. Nice has won the Travers over American Flag. Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial. Alice Ellis. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it as the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Back on Belmont Park Live. Get signed up, started, play along. We have a late pick 4 coming up. You can play with Naira Bets. Use that promo code Belmont Live to take advantage of that $200 new member bonus to bet any track, anywhere, anytime through Naira Bets. 7th race here. We'll kick off this late pick 4 again. A mile on this yielding turf course today. 50,000 starter allowance. Coming up as you look at that long shot, the 5 Ego, who's the biggest price on the board at 45-1. But here's our favorite, Fly Off. George Weaver runner, very impressive off more than a year's layoff to come back, break his maiden by 8 lengths here at Belmont, and then running second in that race that we showed you. The horse who was actually a multiple winner at the meet. I believe the first multiple winner at Saratoga this past summer, Cape Angel for Joe Sharp.
I'm a little surprised this horse is as short as he is today. He was just 9-5. He ticked back up to 2-1. You know, when you see these big layoffs, Greg, over a year, and you see yielding ground, and you see that race where I don't want to say he was traveling apprehensively, but, you know, I know he got bothered on the turn and stuff, but he just didn't look like he was grabbing the ground perfectly like you wanted. He certainly didn't look like he did here at Belmont on the firm ground when he broke his maiden back on July 12th. I thought that maybe he'd be a little bit of a bigger price today. They're sending it in.
Meanwhile, the 4 in that red cap, Wet Your Whistle, Javier Castellano for Michael Trombetta, 13-1 right now. Has had 2 tries on the turf. Will cut back a 1/16 of a mile today.
Yeah, I can't believe this horse is as big a price as he is. Mike Trombetta won a race yesterday with Super Catch. This horse ran very, very well last time. I wonder if maybe a target on the front end today, and Javier can take off and use a horse as a target. 13-1 on this horse with Javier Castellano climbing aboard. A lot of value there is one of the biggest prices.
Definitely would need to improve, but he's a 3-year-old. He's only started a couple of times on the turf, and he could certainly make that improvement here this afternoon. We'll see what happens. 9-5 now. Fly off for George Weaver. The favorite, the 11 here with Jose Ortiz. As we see the 5 back out momentarily. Ego, the long shot with Jose Lizcano. Let's set it upstairs. Start of the late pick 4. Here's Larry Colmus with the call.
Little Commissioner takes up position in the outside stall, and they're all in line. They're off. Fly Off and Little Commissioner come out running well. These 2 joined on the inside by Wet Your Whistle. And right up there, 2 in between horses is Miles of Humor. So it's these 4 that lead them up the backstretch, and then comes Arch of the Diver on the inside. After that, it's Lemonist, Ego is next, and then comes Shortlist, and Here Comes Your Man is the trailer. Up the backstretch, Wet Your Whistle has taken the lead here. Fly Off is second on the outside. Miles of Humor has the rail in third. Little Commissioner 4th after a 23.48 opening quarter mile. Arch of the Diver 4.5 lengths off the lead, running in 5th and down on the inside. Lemonist is next by another 2.5. And then it's Shortlist and Ego together with Here Comes Your Man right behind them, trailing the field some 12 lengths from the front, running into the far turn. Wet Your Whistle on top by a length, Flying Off second on the outside. 47.67 was the half mile. And then it's Miles of Humor, a length and a half off of them, followed by Little Commissioner, Arch of the Diver. Lemonist is racing 4 lengths off the lead, beginning to move up outside of horses. It's 2.5 lengths more to Shortlist, and then Ego. Here Comes Your Man still at the rear of the field as they come toward the top of the stretch, where it is Wet Your Whistle and Fly Off 1-2 as they turn for home. These 2 side by side. Little Commissioner third on the outside. Center of the course comes Lemonist in 4th as they come to the final furlong. Fly Off in front, putting away Wet Your Whistle, but Lemonist is coming. Fly Off in front. Lemonist on the outside trying to come and get Fly Off, who's got something left in the tank here. Fly Off holding off Lemonist, who's still coming. Fly Off, Lemonist down to the wire. It's going to be a photo finish. Too close to call. Lemonist was coming late. Fly Off was there on the inside. They were right together on the wire. Wet Your Whistle was 3rd, and Little Commissioner was 4th.
Dead tight finish, too tight to call. The 7 Lemonist was gaining with every step on the 11 Fly Off.
Yeah, Fly Off. Jose Ortiz took a little peek back midway on the far turn, and it looked like he was just going to make a break for it. You know, I thought originally Lemonist got there. Now I tend to think Fly Off may have held him at bay.
I have no idea. I'm going to let the photo determine this one. All the momentum with the 7 outside, as the 11 Fly Off just trying to find a little more late, and that's a tough angle. But that, it's not a perfect angle. From there, I thought it might be the 7, but I can't tell you.
Yeah, one angle says 7, one angle says 11. They're going back and forth. Craps players are rejoicing, though, because it's 7-11. Either way, wow, that might be a heater, Greg. That could be a heater.
Very difficult to tell from the angles we're looking at here. This is dead tight. John Velasquez on the 7 Lemonist. Jose Ortiz on the 11 Fly Off, who was more forwardly placed early on in this spot, but Lemonis with all the late momentum here in this race.
He had a lot of weight on his back too. I picked him, so you know he's got to take that into account when they put the photo finish sign up. He's got about another 375 on his back in this photo.
All right, it's going to take the photo for sure to determine this one, and the difference is 4-1 on the 7 Lemonist, or your 2-1 post-time favorite on the 11 here, Fly Off.
And you see Fly Off again, Greg. I don't know if he loves this ground. They put him up. He wanted. He held on.
The 11
I thought he did
barely
on the
hanging on.
Yeah, look at that photo. I mean, that's an inch. If it's an inch, if it's that. You see him, he's meandering about the course, though. He was started outside. I don't know if he loves this ground. He still won today.
By a nostril, it is Fly Off, your favorite. Let's go to Paul LaDuca.
Yeah, guys, the Bob of life here. I want you to pay attention to the top of the lane here. Watch Jose Ortiz. He stays right-handed on Fly Off, but soon as he switched his stick to the left hand, this son of Get Stormy wanted no part of it. Watch him switch to his wrong lead right there, and then that's when the 7 starts to pick him up. He did not want to get hit left-handed. Then he put the stick away, and that was the smartest thing Jose could have done. Stop hitting him left-handed because he was dead stopping.
Wow, was that close. 2 today for Jose Ortiz, and the 2-1 favorite just up in time for trainer George Weaver, Glen Crest Farm. And as mentioned, Jose, that's how close it was in the end, and milliseconds later, the 7 was in front.
Yeah, and that's a great call from Paul. He's running away from the whip a little bit. Once Jose puts the stick away, he stays to his business. Boy, talk about cutting it close.
11, 7, 4, 12. Back with prices right after this. Stay tuned.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. Now his flashy first crop yearlings are turning heads with a striking resemblance to their internationally successful sire. The sky's the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
We're back on Belmont Park Live. You can win more with Naira Bets all across the country by hitting any pick 4 at Golden Gate for a 20% winner's bonus on Naira Bets. That's any winning pick 4 at Golden Gate to score a bonus. Go to NairaBets.com for details on this and all the September promotions. Start of our late pick 4, it's in the books, and it goes to the favorite by a nostril. Not even a full nostril. Fly Off, just barely getting it done. A couple of former Dwayne Lucas assistants running 1-2, and here's George Weaver holds off Todd Pletcher. 11-7, 4-12, your final here. As Fly Off returns $6.30. Let's go to Paul LaDuca.
Thanks, Greg, with winning training here, George Weaver. And first question is, did you think you won?
No, I thought that other horse got us right there in the wire. It was tough. He was a little bit separated from us, but I thought that he might have got us.
Now, he's a horse that you leashed out after a long layoff for 40 at Saratoga. He's always had some talent, but some issues here and there. But he showed a little bit of heart today.
He does. He's a hard trier. I thought the race at Saratoga that he really tried, dug in. The horse kind of knocked him out at the top of the stretch, and I thought he was game, down the lane. He's got a lot of class. He's just a, I'm not sure at what level is going to be his top, but I know that he'll give everything he's got. He's that type of horse.
He's still a little green. He shot away from a whip there at the end. Do you think he's got some more to progress?
Yeah, he looked good here. I thought late maybe he got a little tired, and Jose hit him there. He switched right when he hit him there left-handed. He switched it back to his left lead, so he might have been getting a little tired and leg weary. But Jose admitted when he came back he had to move a little sooner than he wanted to, and maybe that's why he did that.
Congrats, George.
Thank you.
George Weaver with the victory, and Fly Off, he's still relatively lightly raced here. 4-year-old son of Get Stormy. He's got some promise.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him get back on some firm ground as well. I know he ran well on the yielding in his last 2 now, but I still think he'll like a little better, a little firmer.
Naira Betts, late pick 5 follow along, over $84,000 in the pool, and that discretionary mark $9 return might play a little bit bigger because that was a difficult race.
It was a wide open race. Listen, Fly Off at $6. I didn't expect him to be that short. No way he's that short in that late pick 5 pool.
We will sit up the 8th right now, in fact. 6.5 furlongs. Main track, New York Breds, entry-level allowance. Making out was ultra impressive. Start number 2 at Saratoga, won by more than 8 lengths.
Now this one I think is all of 6 to 5, even money in the Naira Betts late pick 5, in the late pick 4. I think if you had a lean and if you had to take a single today, I really think this is the filly you want to do it with. The public seems to agree. 6 to 5 with 21 minutes to post, my friend.
All right, we'll talk more through this field when we come back. We'll also talk New York bred Whitney winner, Diversify. Gearing up for the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Talk about him when we return.
This 3-time graded stakes winning millionaire defeated 20 Grade 1 winners. In the Dixie Stakes, he defeated Canadian champion and Horse of the Year Up with the Birds and set a new course record at Saratoga. Now the excitement is building as his first foals have arrived this year. Half to 4 graded stakes winners, Ironicus has the speed, class, and bloodlines to become the next great sire by Distorted Humor. Ironicus, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Betts.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Betts app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a length and a half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Diversify broke like a rocket, and Diversify gets some daylight with a half-mile to run. Oh, and he's got a 5-length lead here. Mind Your Biscuits and Discreet Lover will battle for second. Diversify has won the Whitney in style. He took it by 4 over Mind Your Biscuits. But a furlong to run. They are nose to nose, stride for stride. Abel Tasman and Mike Smith, Elaine and Jose Ortiz. Who's it gonna be? Abel Tasman determined. Elaine can't get by. Here's the wire. Oh, Abel Tasman did it. She won it by a neck. Mike Smith lets her loose and she turns it on. Marley's Freedom pouring it on as they come down to the wire. She's gonna win the ballerina, going away by 3.5 lengths. Whitmore has room at the rail and comes charging on through, and they're into the stretch. Whitmore has come through on the inside. Whitmore digs in, drifts out. It's gonna be Whitmore and Ricardo Santana Jr. to do it over City of Light, who was in a photo with Limousine Liberal, and CZ Rocket was 4th. They're off in the Sword Dancer. Glorious Empire broke very well. So Julien Leparoux slowing the tempo down here with Glorious Empire. They're in front by a length. Glorious Empire still there in the Sword Dancer. Set down for another furlong. Glorious Empire's gonna do it all the way under Julien Leparoux taking the Sword Dancer. And then it was Channel Maker second, followed by Spring Quality and High Happy. Sipacan Harbor is closing down the center of the track as well, and then it's reflected behind them. Here comes Sipacan Harbor. Sipacan Harbor, she's the real deal. She won the Spinaway.
Now, what a summer it was at Saratoga. Those are all the Breeders' Cup win and you're in performers. Of course, among them, New York bred Diversify. He did not let that 41-minute bizarre weather delay get in the way of him being aggressive early and going gate to wire in that Whitney victory. We're going to see him coming up next weekend in the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Yeah, he's going to try to defend his title, beat Keen Ice and Pavel last year. We'll see who's coming. Mendelssohn, I believe, is coming back. Thunder Snow's coming, so it should be an interesting Jockey Club Gold Cup.
This was him earlier this morning. Iran Ortiz Jr. up, went 5 furlongs, 58-4 on the main track.
You know, Greg, I am not one of the biggest workout guys in the morning. I would rather see how a horse is training a full body of training on a day in and day out basis. But I will tell you something. They don't get easier and more impressive than this move this morning. He's gliding over the racetrack. He went the first 3/8 in this work in 34 and some change, comes home in 24 and change, 58.97 to wrap it up. But if he's not ready for the Jockey Club Gold Cup next Saturday, I don't think he'll ever be.
He is the one they're going to have to come and catch, because we know his game plan. Go to the front and play come catch me if you can. As you take a look at the lineup for the Breeders' Cup win and you're in races that remain, there are quite a few of them. Jockey Club Gold Cup is another one of them. Of course, Diversify, he's already qualified for that. Can somebody else step up and punch their ticket to the Breeders' Cup Classic?
Yeah, lots going on here at Big Sandy. My favorite time of year. This is my absolute favorite meet of the season, the Belmont Fall Championship meet.
We're going to get back to action here. This 8th race coming up. We are on the main track, 6.5 furlongs here, New York bred entry level allowance, and making out, taking all the money here at 6-5 off that impressive maiden score where she won by 8.5 lengths in start number 2 for Bruce Levine. It's time for a paddock report. We're going to check in with Paula Duca. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. You know, nothing to knock here on the favorite. She looks tremendous here in the paddock. Very, very composed. And off that 8-length win, she comes in with a nice drill here. 3 out of almost 100 workers in her drill. And I think that has a lot to do with it. Her other work before that was very slow, and then a fast one after that. And it seems like Bruce has this filly in tip-top shape and definitely the one to beat. The 7 in here I thought was very interesting. Newport Breeze for George Weaver. When I first was looking at the PPs, you look at the Southern California form, it's not great, but now she returns back to Belmont where she did run a couple decent races, and I thought she made a tremendous appearance here in the paddock. She is a big filly here by Majestic Warrior, and she is a New York bred. That's probably why, and obviously why she's back in New York. But I'll tell you what, the 3 in here, Starlight Mission, is shining like a copper penny. I'm taking a line from Maggie Wolfendale, and I know she's 1 for 11 lifetime. She does have 4 seconds and 3/3, but man, she looks unbelievable. She looks like one of those nice car washes you send your Bentley through, Greg.
And by the way, she broke her maiden here at Belmont. Making out was impressive last time out, but that was at Saratoga. Never know if they're going to be able to transfer that form back here to a different racetrack as we take a look at Making Out. But she was very, very good in that effort.
Yeah, as a rider, pleased. In fact, the last 16th of a mile or so, Jose Ortiz was just getting it to the wire. She wasn't doing much. She wasn't exerting herself. I love when fillies especially break their maiden that way, as impressive as she was the last time up at the old spa. She ran down here at Belmont Park. She was very good. In fact, that filly, the other filly in here that Paul was talking about, Phil Serpy's filly, beat her. But here she is. I mean, you see Jose going to work, keeping her on her business, let her know what it's all about, and now right here at the 16th pole. All right, Mama, we're going to get home here. Well within herself, just wrapped up. Yep. Love seeing that.
6-5 on the daughter of Flat Out for trainer Bruce Levine. There she is. But you mentioned horse is going to be right next door to her, a 3-year-old filly out of Orbit. She actually beat Making Out when she broke her maiden here at Belmont. She did so by 4 1/4 lengths. Now, Making Out didn't get out of the gate all that great that day, but still, this filly here has a win against her on her resume.
Yeah, and she's 6-1. One of them 6-5, one of them 6-1. And you say to yourself, well, yeah, Making Out didn't break that well in the debut, and she found that length, the length she needed to the next start. But this filly coming back out of Orbit, she's getting into a slugfest here with Fair Regis, who's turned into a nice filly. Yeah, and you know, she in fact gets hit with the whip here. 10, 15 years ago, automatic takedown, not the case anymore. So some would say she shouldn't be eligible for this condition anymore. Connections of Fair Regis are happy she's still eligible for this condition. But yeah, there's no way Making Out should be 6-5 and Out of Orbit should be 6-1.
Yeah, that was a very good filly that she ran against. So she has that on her belt. Definitely more experienced Out of Orbit, and you're getting a better price as well. We'll be back with the post-parade coming up, and of course our features still to come. Bertram F. Bongard and Bankit, the speedster for Steve Asmussen, trying to go gate to wire at 7 furlongs. That's still to come.
Bayern turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief, Laboring Measure in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The 3 of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern, Bayern holds on.
Back on Belmont Park Live, here comes our post parade for the 8th race, and we start off with My Roxy Girl. Eric Cancel rides for Mitchell Friedman.
0 for 6 at Belmont Park, but she has 4 seconds and 2/3 here at Big Sandy. 3 wins overall in her career.
Yeah, maybe she just didn't like Saratoga because her Belmont form was pretty sharp. Diamond Jen Brady for Mark Hennig. Jose Lezcano aboard.
Turf to dirt, going to stretch out a 16th of a mile here. Back with the New York Breds for the first time since January when she finished second.
Filly that caught Paula Duca's attention here with the way she looks. She does make a nice appearance. 9-2 here for Gary Contessa. Joel Rosario aboard.
Gets a lot of checks. She broke her maiden going a flat mile. 3 starts back in gate to wire fashion for Joel and Contessa. I don't know if she's going to see the lead in here.
Out of orbit, and here's the 3-year-old filly who beat our favorite Making Out. She did so when she broke her maiden 4 starts back for Phil Serpy.
You're cutting back a touch to 6.5 off a couple of 7 furlong tries. She ran against Fair Regis. Take Charge Aubrey's nice as well for Bruce Levine. She has to deal with another one of Bruce's in here, right here.
Here's the favorite Making Out. Jose Ortiz for Bruce Levine.
Yeah, did very little wrong last time. Nothing at all. Poor start first time. She might have been a maiden after her debut, but she broke.
Well, she's only won once. She's trying to beat right here a horse who has won 4 times. This is Gobi coming in from Parks.
Yeah, 2-month layoff. David Cohen for the first time. She could use a little pace in front of her. Maybe she could pick up some of the pieces for the try.
Newport Breeze, trained by George Weaver. George Weaver looking to go back-to-back. John Velasquez aboard.
The first time she's going to run in a state bred allowance race. All of her tries against fellow New York breds have come in stakes company.
And Flat Calm. She broke her maiden in the second start of her career at Aqueduct by 8.5 lengths. She's been off since April for Linda Rice.
Yeah, she wanted nothing to do with the turf in her last start in April. 5-month break. Arad Ortiz Jr. climbs aboard. She's a big number at 13-1.
Well, there again, a look at Newport Breeze coming back here from the West Coast with George Weaver now. He used to be in the Peter Urton barn. And here's George Weaver's numbers. First start after a trainer switch in dirt sprints over the last 5 years, 0 for 19.
Yeah, only 6 of them have even been in the money, Greg. But you look at this filly's card, and, you know, she's run against better horses in the state bred competition. She's run against Open Company in her 4 starts that sandwich the state bred races out in California. You know, look, after Making Out in here, I think any of them are eligible to get a piece of the pie, really.
And Making Out still our favorite. That is the 5 here at 6-5. Remember, get signed up, started, play along. Use that promo code again, Belmont Live, to get that $200 new member bonus in your account. Is the 5 Making Out in here? Do you think she's the quickest of this group?
I think she is. I think she's just gets in front of these and bosses them around today. The free bingo square, if you will, in the late pick 5 and the late pick 4 for me. She's even money. I'm not a big fan of taking even money, but she's as good as it gets at even money in my eyes. Really is.
Everybody in this field with an experience edge on her, including this one here, as being a little hard to handle, it looks like, for Eric Cancel, My Roxy Girl. You know, we talked about those last 2 starts, Saratoga. She didn't show us really anything in those 2 tries. Before that, at Belmont, if she could return to what she was doing here, I don't know if she can win, but she's in the mix maybe to hit the board. She certainly showed some talent at Belmont.
She's a big number on the board at 14-1. I'm never going to talk anybody off a horse at that price. My question is, she's run 18 times, and this is just her 3-year-old season. Maybe she's getting a little sour and needs a freshening. That would be my opinion.
11 of those 18. She's been first or second. 3 victories, although none of them have come here at Belmont. It looks like she's settled down here a little bit with more on My Roxy Girl. Let's go to Paula Duca.
Yeah, you guys are right, man. She was absolutely quarter-horsed, absolutely from when she got away from the pony, and Eric Cancel really got into her. She is warming up very aggressively. And I would think after getting left in the gate last time that they're going to try to push from the rail in here. The other horse was Gobi, the 6. I thought that horse was getting a nice little warm-up. You know, the 3 races for Gobi, I know at 11-1, I'm not a big fan of him. And, you know, a horse, you got to like these little fillies that were in for 7,500 for back. This is a big jump in class. But the 3 races here at Belmont are not bad, Greg.
All right, so 15-1 on My Roxy Girl. And, yeah, I mean, I think if you can look past those Saratoga starts, she's interesting in this spot here. But so is this one, certainly out of orbit. We talked about the couple of nice fillies she's faced. Fair Regis, Take Charge Aubrey, last couple of starts. Satisfy, who came back and won. So ever since she's broke her maiden when she beat Making Out, who had a compromised trip, and it was her debut, she's faced some good company.
She's going to have, I think the biggest problem with Out of Orbit today is she's destined to be chasing the favorite again. And, you know, at some point, you'd rather either be on the lead or have a different target as opposed to the filly you need to beat in front of you. I think it just makes her job a little bit tougher today.
Starlight Mission. I've never been in a Bentley, or was it a Rolls Royce? Yeah, I've never been in either. The Paula Duca compared the looks of this one too, but 9-2 right now. And Gary Contessa having an incredible start to this meet.
And I can't even tell you the last time I washed my car, so I don't know if he's talking about getting through a car wash. Yeah, you know, going the mile, she was able to be closer. Well, she was on the lead. I'm wondering, you know, going the 6.5, obviously she's going to need to make up some ground. And she's going to need them to come back to her a little bit. The way this racetrack's been the better part of the meet, not really that profile. You know, I think she'd probably be better off stretching back out and being a lot closer, if not on the lead.
So she is 9-2 right now, down from a 6-1 morning line. We'll see if she can turn the tables on Out of Orbit, who has beat her the 4 fillies, finished ahead of her each of the last 2 starts. They've gone head-to-head a couple of times this summer at Saratoga. But with these 3-year-old fillies, things can change quickly.
Yeah, they can change very, very quickly. And, you know, when you talk about the 3-year-old fillies, in fact, on Talking Horse this morning, I tried to split the 2 favorites in here in the exact. I think Making Out's going to be tough. I think Newport Breeze, in spite of that negative George Weaver stat, I think she's going to run a little bit better today. She has 2 starts here at Belmont. Like I said, they were in the state bred races, the Joseph A. Jimma and the Maid of the Mist. Her Jimma race was pretty good. She didn't have a great start that day. She made up some ground late. I think if Out of Orbit chases Making Out or makes one of the first runs into her, maybe a horse like Newport Breeze can pick up the pieces.
Now this all about this filly right here, Making Out, even money on the board. She has just a maiden win to her credit, but it was impressive as can be. She won by 8.5 lengths in the second start of her career this summer at Saratoga. This will be her very next test. Her first try against winners is coming up, and she is a short price, expected to return to the winner's circle. Let's set it upstairs. For the call of race 8, here's the voice of New York racing, Larry Colmus.
Last couple moving into line here as Out of Orbit comes up to the starting gate. Newport Breeze will take her position in line next, and that will leave Flat Calm to complete the line as Making Out goes down to 4-5 right now on the board. Flat Calm steps up, and they're all in line. They're off. Making Out broke last. Diamond Jen Brady out for the lead with My Roxy Girl and Flat Calm on the far outside. Flat Calm's going to be sent to the front. Then Out of Orbit, followed by Starlight Mission, Newport Breeze. Making Out his second last, and now Gobi is the trailer as they head up the back stretch. And it is Flat Calm in front. Flat Calm heads for the turn in front by 3/4 of a length to Out of Orbit in second. My Roxy Girl is third, 22.23 that first quarter mile. Then Diamond Jen Brady, Newport Breeze. Making Out is 6 lengths behind at this stage, racing outside of Starlight Mission at the rail, and the trailer is Gobi. Around the far turn, it is Flat Calm from Out of Orbit. The 2 of them are a neck apart. My Roxy Girl 2.5 lengths off of them. Then Diamond Jen Brady, Newport Breeze to the outside. And then comes Starlight Mission. Nothing yet from Making Out. She's still about 7 lengths behind and riding the rail at the top of the stretch and now being set down for the drive. It is Flat Calm in front after a 45.3 half mile. On the outside is Out of Orbit in second. Making Out is making some progress down on the inside. Starlight Mission is on the far outside. It's Flat Calm to catch close to home. Flat Calm holding on to the lead down to the wire. On the outside, Starlight Mission. Flat Calm won it. Starlight Mission was second, Out of Orbit third, and Making Out was fourth.
20-1 on Flat Calm. Had been off since April. The last time she raced, she was on the turf. wins impressively with a sharp break for Linda Rice. And a little lucky, too.
A little lucky, too, making out while Jose Ortiz breaks last on the even money favorite. Gerard Ortiz Jr., he must have thought he was on Diversified, Greg. He came booting and scooting out of there with flat calm, clears, and is going to hold off a big late run from the red-hot Gary Contessa's Starlight Mission, who's just going to fall a little bit short at 5-1.
This one dismissed. No one gave this filly much of a look in here. Daughter a flatter for Linda Rice. Second time out, she won big at Aqueduct, going a mile on a good track that day. This is the first time she has sprinted in her career. 20-1 to light up the tote board here.
Yeah, she liked sprinting. It was to her liking today.
And Paul, good call on Starlight Mission. She ran to her look. She just got going a little bit too late in here, and Flat Calm didn't have anyone pressuring her.
No.
Head scratcher.
Say that again.
Poor break from making out. Certainly compromised her chances. Finishes fourth in here. 8-3, 4-5 finish. We'll be back with the prices in our feature race. Still to come, the Bertram F. Bongard. Right after this.
Successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast, a multiple Grade 1 winner and runner-up in the $16 million Pegasus World Cup. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Phasing Tipton July Seal with a $520,000 yearly. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Belmont Park Live, the daughter of Flatter with a win at 20-1 here in the 8th at Belmont. Of course, Flatter, son of AP Indies, produced 6 millionaires, including Grade 1 winner, champion 3-year-old West Coast among them. At a $520,000 sale topper at Phasing Tipton July 2018. And now, put Flat Calm in the winner's circle here in the 8th race with another talented runner, 3-year-old filly. For Linda Rice, Tick Stables with Gerard Ortiz Jr. aboard for the victory.
Something I would not have been was Flat Calm had I been able to find this filly at 20-1 today. Good job by Gerard just getting to the front and taking no prisoners in here. Starlight Mission, big late rally out of orbit, chased, settles for third.
Let's go downstairs to Paula Duca.
Linda Rice here, winning trainer. We got to get this interview in a hurry because she's got a horse in at Laurel right now, so it takes a little bit longer for them to load up. But did you think you're going to be 20-1 in here?
You know, when I looked at the paper, I said, wow, this is a pretty tough race for a first level allowance in the New York breds. So I thought it was a strong race, but my filly had been training better than ever. We gave her a little vacation this summer, and she came back super. But the race looked solid, you know.
You had a couple nice-looking ladies here to support you. Who are they?
Yeah, Vivian Malloy and Linda, her friends with her. So Tick Stable wasn't here today, so they're representing. And I told Irad in the paddock, I said, Irad, this filly's been training a lot better than she looks on form. So.
Well, congratulations. I'll let you watch her race from Laurel. I don't want her to miss. Maybe she can get in the winner's circle there too, Greg.
Thank you.
Well, flat comp. So Linda was expecting better than what the betting public was expecting here at 20-1. And this filly produces here. Congratulations to Tick Stables, Linda, and Irad Ortiz Jr.
Yeah, big effort. You know, she mentioned that vacation. That always helps sometimes, especially with the younger fillies, Greg. You give them a little bit of a break. They come back better than ever. And this filly did something she had never done before, and that was sprint.
All right, this is getting interesting all of a sudden. The Naira Bets late pick 5 follow along. First couple of races, they both were not easy by any stretch of the imagination, even though favorites won each of those first 2 legs. And now a $42 horse in flat com where we had an odds-on favorite defeated.
Yeah, it's not like you have a couple of horses to start this in discretionary market fly off that were layups. The layup ran 4th in the 8th race today, and that was making out. But yeah, it makes this sequence very, very tricky because this is a tough filly to find.
Our show brought to you each and every day in part by the champion sprinter Run Happy. There he is in legendary stall 1 at Claiborne Farm in Paris, Kentucky. He never lost while sprinting during the course of his career. He did it all while running without the addition of Lasix medication. He was a superstar sprinter from the get-go. And we're going to see his offspring coming to a racetrack in the not-too-distant future in 2020. 9th race, it's our feature race coming up. It is the Bertram F. Bongard 7 furlongs for 2-year-olds. And Bank It for trainer Steve Asmussen is ultra quick. Jose Ortiz will be aboard, looking for the 2nd win of his career.
Yeah, 2-1 right now. I think this tote board tells a story of very competitive running of the Bongard. No one higher than 8-1. The longest shot on the board right now is Bustin Hoffman, who broke his maiden for a tag. But yeah, this will be a fun renewal of the Bongard. Always look forward to these state-bred races as Empire Showcase Day is just a few weeks away.
Yeah, that's right. We started off our show, unfortunately, on a sad note. We didn't know how bad it was going to be for Junior Alvarado. We saw him thrown from his mount on Sword Fighter. Looked like he actually got stepped on. We got an update from Paul LaDuca saying he was off to the hospital and actually a dirt clod hit him. Now Dave Grenning from Daily Racing Form sends out this tweet. He spoke to Alvarado's agent, who told him he has a bloody nose from that clod of turf that hit him in the face, which Paul LaDuca told us as well. Said the trailing horse only brushed him, did not step on him. That is tremendous news. Still going to the hospital, though, for an evaluation to be safe, so that is as good as we could have hoped for, and hope for a speedy recovery with whatever winds up being any nicks, bruises, a little bit of back pain we've heard for Junior Alvarado.
Yeah, you know, mid-fall, I bet you Junior Alvarado would have signed a contract for a bloody nose as the result of what that fall was going to be. And you brought it up earlier, Greg. They often look, thankfully, they often look a lot worse than they really are. You and I were a little concerned with that one because there were a lot of moving parts. There were, you know, Frisky Magician's legs and Junior Alvarado's legs and arms moving. Get out of that with a bloody nose. Good job. Thankfully. And I still think Manny Franco didn't give himself enough credit. I think he got that horse wide enough to stop a major catastrophe from happening.
All the things you got to worry about, too, as a jockey. Never would have thought you had to worry about a clod, a turf coming to hit you in the face.
That's, you know, we talk about the trainer's excuse book. That's Jock's excuse number 172. It's amazing.
Tough profession, what these guys have to do each and every day that we often take for granted. They are tough. We're going to take a break in the action. Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile winner back in action. Coming up this weekend in the Kelso. Battle of Midway is second back off the bench when he had to try and tackle Catalina Cruiser at Del Mar. Making his way to the East Coast here for Jerry Hollendorfer. We'll be back.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NyraBets.com.
Midway, Sharp Azteca fights on from the inside. The two of them come to the final 16th together. Awesome Slew is third, Practical Joke is fourth. Battle of Midway, Sharp Azteca coming down to the line together. Battle of Midway has defeated Sharp Azteca in the dirt mile.
Now, New York audience knows Sharp Azteca real well because he was a star on this circuit. And Battle of Midway getting by him to win the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Last November at Del Mar, he was retired, out of retirement. This will be his second start back after running in the Pat O'Brien trying to chase down Catalina Cruiser.
Yeah, and Breeders' Cup winner is the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile winner from last year. Only the best in Hall of Fame trainer Shug McGahee's barn since Wednesday, I believe, getting ready for a tilt in that Kelso tomorrow afternoon.
We're going to have it for you. Tomorrow, 1 mile Kelso, grade 2. This is the field that will line up against Battle of Midway. What do you think? Can he get back to what we saw in the Breeders' Cup last year?
I think he can. I don't think they'd have brought him back into training if he couldn't. I don't think they would have shipped him across country. I mean, look, to be on the same racetrack as Catalina Cruiser at this point is pretty impressive. He didn't run that badly, and I think the mile, Greg, is more of his trip as opposed to the frenzy that can be 7 furlongs.
Cross-country pick 4 includes the Cotillion, the Pennsylvania Derby for Parks, and 2 races from Belmont. A special pick 4 available nationwide and on Naira Bets. Just look for XCP4 in the racing menu to place your bet that kicks things off in the 7th at Belmont on Saturday. It includes, of course, that grade 2 Kelso as well. Earlier in the card on Saturday, Noble Damsel, grade 3 at a mile on the turf, where Uni 7-5 morning line for trainer Chad Brown. Of course, he is also sending out to Dream a While as well. But Uni coming off a win in the De La Rose at Saratoga.
You got to love this filly. Look at how wide she is in the De La Rose. This was Whitney Day. It was the only race we ran on the turf that day. It didn't matter. She's in the 7 path or so, and she just swoops the group. She makes this run, Greg, into fast paces, into moderate paces, into slow paces. On fast turf, on firm turf, I should say, on wet turf. It doesn't matter. She brings her course with her. It doesn't matter what happens up front. I love fillies like that. Just another weapon as far as the fillies and mares go in the Chad Brown arsenal.
Yeah, when you see how wide she was around the turn on a soft turf, too, that was really impressive in that De La Rose. So it's going to be fun to see her back in action, see if she can repeat that kind of performance. Hawksmoor going to be going postward in that race as well for Arnaud de la Cour. Thundering Sky won the De La Rose the year before. Going to be a long shot in that race tomorrow. Bertram F. Bongard is our feature this afternoon. It is coming up. 7 furlongs here for 2-year-olds at Bankit, down to 9-5 right now. Very, very quick. That stretch tool on the funny side just came up short.
A deserving favorite. No doubt about it being a deserving favorite. Like you said, Greg, just misses by a nose in the funny side. Has the maiden win 2 starts back. The Open Company race first time out. And speak of the maiden win, here it is. You see Ricardo Santana Jr. just saying, let me get away from these here right now and show these guys what it's all about. This is the funny side. I'm sorry. I got confused. We've seen a lot of Bankit today. This is the funny side, and this is Dugout, who was very impressive in his debut, collaring him. You see this, though? This is what you want to see out of a young horse, Greg. Dugout looks like he's going to go right by Bankit. He fought him every step of the way down to the line.
Yeah, he dug in. He was ultra game. Dugout, by the way, was a horse who they requested and they received permission. Didn't want to go to the post parade. He went straight from the paddock to the gate because a little bit studdish. And Bankit got a real test from him as you take a look at Bankit. Now 9-5 on the board. It's time for a paddock report. We're going to check in with Paul Aduca. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000. Paul?
Yeah, I'm taking a look right now at your favorite, Bankit, and you know, after watching his 3 replays, I tell you what, he was game as can be against Dugout last time out. He's on his toes again today. Steve Asmussen's got this son of Central Banker, I would think, ready to go and ready to roll. You know, when you deal with these 2-year-olds, you really don't know what's going to really happen if a horse can get to the front end. Maybe Bankit, with the experience, will get to the front end here and try to wire this field, although just right, the 6 does have a little bit of speed. The imposing horse in here is the 8, and I think Frosted Ice, it's not even close. When you look at the rest of these runners, the 8 is completely a giant filly compared to these, and I think is going to love the 7 furlongs. Now, the first start this horse had was off slow and was way behind, but last time out, you know, got out of the gate a lot better and showed a ton of speed. And with a better break today, the son of Belmont Road, a smoke like a mare, and that's where you get that gray from, I think is going to make a good account of himself. He is an imposing 2-year-old, like I said. Bustin' to be Loved, the 7 would be my other choice in here for Gary Contessa. Just came up a little bit short with Starlight Mission in the last race, but Bustin' to be Loved, a good race from the 1 hole last time, maybe surprised a lot of people at 19-1. But then in the funny side, I thought was right there with Dugout and Bankit, held his own. Bankit got away from him a little bit, but maybe the scenario could be a little bit different today, Greg.
Gary Contessa, runner 19-1 right there. First time out and won the debut at Saratoga. A little bit compromised. Next out against Bankit. Stumbled briefly out of the gate. And we'll see if this one can improve. Start number 3, 4-1 on the board. Feature race coming up. Bertram F. Bongard is next. Bankit for Steve Asmussen, our favorite. We'll be back.
Bayern turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring back there in 5th. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The 3 of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York sired, New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires, 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes, and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
Back on Belmont Park Live, our feature race coming up. I want to remind everybody, California Racing focused on Los Alamitos. You can play the early pick 4 on NYRA Bets and get a 20% winner's bonus every day throughout the meet. Los Alamitos races Friday through Sunday through this weekend. Go to nyrabets.com for all the details on that bonus. There, another look at Bustin' to be Loved. Irad Ortiz Jr., he just accomplished win number 2,000 in his career. We have some other jockeys who are closing in on some milestones as well.
Remarkable how Irad got to 2,000, Greg, as quickly as he did. And when you consider where he's done it, you know, I know he had some wins in his native Puerto Rico, but he's done it here, the toughest colony on the planet. To do what he's done in such a short amount of time, remarkable to say the least.
He's got going in 2011, made an immediate impact, both he and Jose, when they came here to New York. As we look at the jockey standings, Javier Castellano started fast at Saratoga. He started fast here as well, on top of the jockey colony right now, leading John Velasquez by 1 win.
The old guard, Javier and Johnny, with the young bucks right behind him. And there are those milestones we're talking about. Speaking to Manny Franco, 13 away from 100, and then we see some pretty big numbers in posts 2 and 4 there.
Wow.
5,000 and 6,000 wins for John Velasquez. I tell this story ad nauseum. My dad put him on his first horse in North America.
Really?
Yep. Rockville Center, a maiden, New York bred maiden back in 1990.
Which is now a stakes race.
Which is now a stakes race, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Post parade here coming up for our feature, the Bertram F. Bongard, and we're going to see Poppy's Destiny to kick things off in here. Linda Rice, first time out, was a winner, held on a win by a nose in a photo finish. Junior Alvarado was scheduled to ride. It's Javier Castellano here.
Yeah, this horse went gate to wire in the debut. Linda maidens usually get better second out. See if he takes the step forward, even though he is already a winner.
And we'll see if he pressures Bankit with that speed. Bustin Hoffman won against New York bred 50 maiden claiming, so it's a big step up here, but he was impressive at Belmont. Manny Franco rides.
Yeah, just 2 weeks ago, he broke his maiden here at Big Sandy. Another one, he was on the lead first time out. Wonder if he's going to have to come from off the pace today.
Here is Bankit. He's the 8-5 favorite for Steve Asmussen. Jose Ortiz aboard.
He brings the speed, and he's battle-tested, duked it out first time out against Open, duked it out in defeat with Dugout in the funny side.
Todd Pletcher sends out Just Right, who was a winner at 7 furlongs every step of the way at Saratoga last start.
Yeah, and that might be the key here, Greg. He's won at the 7 furlong distance, while the rest have to stretch out at least a 16th of a mile.
Bustin to be Loved stumbled a bit out of the gate when he faced Bankit last time out in the funny side for Gary Contessa.
Yeah, if he breaks, he might be the speed of the speed. He went 21 and some change in his debut. 18 days later, stumbled, still managed 3rd behind Dugout and Bankit in the funny side.
And Frosted Ice and Ron Moquette looking forward to this rematch with Bankit. He did not get out good in that debut. Off that performance, he came back and won by more than 5 lengths.
And maybe he's the one that benefits from the pace in here. If they start to come back or really hit up front early, he could be the one in the offing picking them up and laying them down late. He's taking some money too as the second choice at 3-1.
So Bankit, we've talked a lot about him. 8-5 in those Winchell Thoroughbred Silks and Willis Horton Racing. Steve Asmussen, Jose Ortiz, we know how quick he is, and I don't think today he's getting a lone lead.
That would be something. That would be, you can bank it that he won't be loose on the lead if they all break. And look, we see what happens when they don't break. Making Out didn't break in the last race, and Flat Calm took them gate to wire. I can't imagine 3 of them aren't going to break well in here, though, because there's 4 of them in here that have legit speed.
Including this one here, Poppy's Destiny. Again, we told you this horse got up to win in the debut for Linda Rice. Held on to win by a nose. Let's take a look at that performance. It was at 5.5 furlongs back at Saratoga for his first out effort.
Yeah, he's inside on August 30th here. He gets some separation off of the turn and opens up a huge lead, a 3.5 length lead. True Gold's going to try to make a race of it late. The Wire's going to become his best friend. And now you look at a 23-day turnaround. And one of the things we talked about, the 7/8, he's one that not only has to deal with the 7/8, but he's got to jump up a furlong and a half from the 5.5 furlong debut. That could be a lot to ask of a young horse, especially in just a 23-day turnaround.
Some might say, wow, he had a 3.5 length lead. He nearly got caught. But again, that was his first time out Linda Rice got him into the winner's circle. We'll see how much improvement she can get in. And as you mentioned, the short turnaround here as we look at Just Right, who did win. The only one in this field with a victory at 7 furlongs. He won by more than 4 lengths to get that maiden breaker at Saratoga.
And, you know, I like the way he did this. He controlled early. He didn't have to go all that fast. He was able to go 23 early on and then sped up. He went a 22 and 2 second quarter, asserts himself, and now he's going to draw away. He's under right-handed stick here from Hall of Famer John Velasquez. This is a horse that's really turned it around in his 2 starts with blinkers after not breaking well in his debut, and he's finishing up nicely here. He's loving every bit of this 7 furlongs. You see Johnny hit him left-handed. Now this is what John Velasquez does as a Hall of Famer. Teach him a little bit. Stick him right-handed, get him away, show him a left-handed stick, hit him once, let him know that that's going to happen at some point of his career. I liked everything about that horse's win in the maiden race last time out.
Surprised to see he's not taking more attention here, especially since we had a couple of scratches in the race?
I am. You know, I think maybe people think he's going to get caught in a speed duel in here. I don't think he's fast enough for the first quarter or 3/8 of a mile anyway, as some of the other horses in here. You know, a horse like Bustin' to Be Loved if he breaks, a horse like Bankit who's flat out fast. And, you know, Poppy's Destiny might not be as fast as those two, but he's under the gun from the rail, isn't he?
Yeah, you would think. As we take a look here at Frosted Ice, Ron Moquette, I know, very excited to see this horse back in action and get another crack here at Bankit, because in that debut just didn't get out of the gate well. That compromised his chances, and he showed who he really is and the talent they believe they think this horse has in his second start.
He's a big boy. Paul called it in the paddock. This is a nice-looking son of Bellamy Road. He's as big as his pony. You know, he's the one that would benefit from a pace collapse, from a strong early pace. And you would think the way he looks combined with his pedigree, the 7/8 of a mile should hit him right between the eyes.
He is 5-2 on the board right now, so he is your second choice, the 8-horse Frosted Ice. As we go back here to the 7 Bustin' to Be Loved for Gary Contessa. His 2-year-olds have been sensational over the last few months.
Listen, the 2-year-olds have been sensational. Everything's been running really, really well. This horse was as good as it gets in his debut. I hope you got the $40 because you might not ever see it again on him. He is on the board right now at 9-2. He stumbled last time out. You know, we talk about the speed in here, and maybe that stumble was the best thing that ever happened to him because he ran pretty well. In fact, he ran a faster race than he did in his debut. Maybe they're the ones who think, you know what, let the rail runner, let Poppy's Destiny go put the pressure on Bankit or vice versa, and maybe we'll be in the offing in here. But if he breaks like he did in his debut from the rail, it's going to be hard to try to wrangle him in and take his speed away from him.
He might be the quickest of the entire bunch. We talk about how quick the 5 Bankit is. He might be even quicker as we take a look here at the 3 Bustin' Hoffman. He wasn't necessarily slow in his debut, although he gets a softer field than anybody else in this group beat in his debut win, but he won here at Belmont. Most of these horses won at Saratoga. Actually, all of them did. So he's the only one who owns a victory here at Belmont Park.
I'm fighting so hard not to go into my Rain Man routine right now with Bustin' Hoffman in here. Fantastic name. If he wins, definitely if he wins. 11-1. Look, quick turnaround. He ran very, very well first time. Got away with one is definitely the way to put it when you see a horse like him in for a tag, win by as far as he did. He took a little money that day. I think he's just in a little too deep on the quick turnaround.
Talking about the 3 there, Bustin' Hoffman, who's at 12-1. So loading up for our feature race here. The Bertram F. Bongard 2-year-olds going 7 furlongs to 5 Bankit for trainer Steve Asmussen. Dueled every step of the way to just come up short at Saratoga in a stakes race in the funny side. Going to get his first stakes victory here today. The 5-horse Bankit at 9-5 on the board. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing for the call, Larry Colmus.
Bankit will be the next one to go into the gate here under Jose Ortiz, taking his spot in line. Here comes Just Right and John Velasquez up to their stall in the starting gate. And the last 2 to load will be Bustin' to Be Loved and now Frosted Ice, who's a slight 9-5 favorite. It will be taking up position in the outside stall. Bustin' to Be Loved and Brad Ortiz Jr. not quite into the starting gate yet. And Bankit is a bit restless as well. He's opened up the front of his stall, but they're closing that now. Still waiting for Bustin' to Be Loved to come forward. And now the last one, Frosted Ice to the outside stall, going in. They're all in line. They're off in the Bertram Bongard. Bustin' to Be Loved came out well with Just Right and Bankit on the inside. These three out for the lead. Poppy's Destiny away running in fourth behind them. And then it's Bustin' Hoffman, and the trailer is Frosted Ice as they head up the backstretch. Bankit in front, Just Right alongside, and Bustin' to Be Loved three deep up the backstretch. Poppy's Destiny tracks the pace-setting trio and runs along in fourth after a 22.14 opening quarter mile. And then comes Frosted Ice, and Bustin' Hoffman has been left behind to trail the field, moving into the far turn. There's a half mile to go, and it's Bankit and Just Right, locked in battle. Bustin' to Be Loved outside of them. Frosted Ice comes up alongside of Poppy's Destiny on the far turn, and a good way last here is Bustin' Hoffman. They make their way toward the top of the stretch, a half mile in 45.13 seconds. And here comes Frosted Ice, looping up on the far outside of Bustin' to Be Loved and Bankit, who cuts the corner. Just Right is fourth, and then comes on the outside, and they're into the stretch here, Poppy's Destiny. But now it is Frosted Ice. Frosted Ice is pulling away to a 4-length lead. Poppy's Destiny is moving up on the outside, up into second. Bustin' to Be Loved is third, and then Bankit on the inside. But it's Frosted Ice, and he's a stone-cold runner. Under the wire, winning it by 6 over Poppy's Destiny. Bustin' Hoffman finished well to be third, and Bankit was fourth.
No doubt who was best in the Bertram F. Bongard, Frosted Ice, with a dominant performance here for Ron Moquette with Joel Rosario.
From dead last in the early running, he ranged up. At no point from the half-mile pole, I'd say, to the wire, did it look like anybody else was going to win the Bongard other than Frosted Ice. Your 9-5 favorite, Greg, when all was said and done.
Yeah, last click, he went off as the top choice here in the wagering. This horse was impressive this afternoon. He faced Bankit. We mentioned in his debut, he didn't get out of the gate cleanly that day. He has his next 2 starts, and now he's won back-to-back performances. 8-2, 3-5 finish. Bankit winds up fourth in here, but Frosted Ice, horse we're going to be keeping our eyes on, that was impressive. He wins as a 9-5 favorite. We're going to take a break in the action. Be back to wrap this race up right after a short timeout. Bertram F. Bongard goes to Frosted Ice for Ron Moquette, Joel Rosario, and Rialto Racing Stables.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb was the leading freshman sales sire of weanlings, yearlings, and 2-year-olds. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf, including stakes winners Autumn Warrior and Orvolution, stakes performer Scrapper, and TDN Rising Star Explorer. In the sales ring, his progeny continue to sell well beyond his stud fee, including the $1 million co-sale topper at Saratoga, Classic Winner, Classic Pedigree, or standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a length and a half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live. As you see, Frosted Ice going in the winner's circle. And Anthony, they don't win much easier than this.
No, like I said, from the half-mile pole home, it didn't look like anybody else was going to win the bongo, but Frosted Ice, you see him here. Joel Rosario, he's letting it all unfold in front of him. They went 22 to the opening quarter. He was licking his chops. There he goes past Bustin Hoffman, who's going to wind up rounding out the try-in here. Now he's going to go past Poppy's Destiny, who's going to be second in here. And as the speed starts to come back, Joel doesn't try to get cute. He just puts this horse in the four-path and swallows them up in the lane. You can see him just waltzing away, takes the stick, puts it in his left hand. That was all she wrote. Wound up going up the favorite pole. You called this, you mentioned it in the paddock how good this horse looked. Joel's just showing him the left-handed stick, and it was all over by the quarter pole, really.
Yeah, he was so physically imposing. I mean, he had to be, I would say, close to 300-400 pounds heavier than his other horses. He was so much bigger. I mean, so mature. So the son of Bellamy Road out of the Smoke Black and Mare Super Slash. Now 2 for 3 lifetime. And that pick 3 is okay at 501. If you're live in this pick 4 and the late pick 5, you're live for a decent score.
This horse is a little hidden as well. 6-1 on the morning line. You saw some horses that were a little speedier. And this is a very, don't let that 590 at Frosted Ice and that 630 for fly off fool you. This is a very tough sequence, especially trying to find flat calm.
Yeah, you know, I got to see Linda Rice after the race when I interviewed her with Flat Calm. She was on her phone watching her other horse from Laurel, and she was screaming for Laurel. She's like, I won. She got beat by a Bob by Todd Pletcher. She goes, well, I won one race here and got beat by a Bob at Laurel. But she was happy that Flat Calm got the job done. And your biggest price so far today. On to race number 10. This will close out your card. Scratch the 8 in here. We're a mile and 16th on the turf. Shamrock Kid right now. First time gelding is your favorite, Anthony.
Yeah, first time Brad Cox as well. Javier Castellano is going to climb aboard. We haven't seen this horse since Thanksgiving weekend across town at the Big A, but everything to Brad Cox is always going to take a ton of money.
But don't forget, tomorrow is we got a big race in race number 8. It will be the Gallant Bloom, grade 2, $300,000, excuse me, on Sunday, $300,000 on the line. And, you know, eclectic group in here. Lewis Bay at 9-5, still there, the one at 5-2. Lewis Bay's a millionaire, so I guess deserved favorite.
Yeah, she won the Bed of Roses this year, but you see horses like Take Cover, who was not Take Cover, still there rather, a bang-up second to Marley's Freedom in the Ballerina. The defending champ, Highway Stars, here as well. Here is Lewis Bay in that Bed of Roses. Man, what a nice filly. Chad Brown, she had that year layoff. She came back. She's been as good as ever. Yeah, we get to see her on Sunday. It was a big effort here in the Bed of Roses, Paul.
Yeah, she's had 5 starts here at Belmont Park. 3 wins in 2 seconds, so don't forget to join us. Also, tomorrow from 4 to 6, we'll be on the big MSG, and you can grab us there for the Big A. Greg Wolf, who is flying all the way back home to California on Paula Duco. Hopefully you can join us tomorrow. Frosted Ice stole the show. This is a 2-year-old on the rise, a son of Bellamy Road out of that Smoke Black and Mare. And Mrs. Hutt, she gets to lead her charge into the winner's circle here at the Big Sandy.